First, there was Dueling Citizens, now Secrets from the Inside. Author Greg Meakin nails it again. Introducing Secrets from the Inside Radio Show. Raw, unscripted, uncensored, uncanceled. Secrets from the Inside starts now.
You got me headed to the left, headed to the right, headed back and forth, but baby, it's alright. You got me going to the east, going to the west, going up and down, cause baby, you know best. All day, all night, running around, I'm never gonna stop because you never settle down. Got me shooting into space, flying at the sun. I'm never coming back, cause baby, you're the one.
Good morning. It's Secrets from the Inside, episode 0035. I'm Val OLSON, and this is Greg Meakin. Good morning, Greg. How are you?
Other than running by the seat of my pants, I'm awesome, Val. God, it's great to be here. It is a great time to be alive. Go ahead.
Yes, it is. We are on the verge of July the 4th. So excited. It's going to be another Freedom Fest, that's for sure. It's great to be on this side of freedom, on this side of the 49th parallel after a trip to Canada. And I was all over Western Canada in the Wild West. And I have a report to bring back to you. And I can't wait to catch up because I know you have a lot of stuff that's going on right now.
Oh, busy. Yes, indeed. We've got to catch up on your eventful trip up to Canada, Canada. As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring up just a few kind of bulletin board points pretty quick. And I want to talk about my recent field trip down to Benson, Arizona, Val. Oh my God. And then I want to take some time specifically further on just a little bit for Alberta talk and your report from your trip. So cool. I don't know about you, but busy times. I'll scold my fellow Generation X radio guys for running by the seat of their pants. For some reason, Generation X males have been brought into my life for me to mentor them to drive me crazy. And there we go. So I used to scold again, Mike Phillip running by the seat of his pants, American Up Radio up in Edmonton. And here I am doing my best to be a Generation X male. I'm telling you what, I even started a little to-do list today, Val.
Nice.
When I go to the envelope, if I write something on an envelope, it means I'm overwhelmed, right? Stuff. So I'm going to be taking notes as we go. If you would, just kind of, I'm really running hard, as you can tell. Been up since about 4 this morning and so much things going on. If you would, take a quick, just like minute, and number one, slow me down. Let's sit at your kitchen table like we used to, the old days. Take a minute, just let people know who kind of you and I are, our little history as far as radio and stuff and what we do. But if anything, just helping me slow down. Back into Miss Val's kitchen here. And so take a quick little minute and intro the show, if you would.
All right. Well, you are in my kitchen, in fact. This is real living proof, the real deal. And I am a wife, a mom, a foreign media correspondent. I've spent 20 plus years broadcasting across Western Canada, specifically Alberta. That is where I come from. And it was great to be home, but broadcasting has changed. The old TV station that I worked at for many years is on its last legs. So that's sad. It's kind of like the phone book. You know how the phone book was like this thick? And now it's like, this thick. It's kind of what's happening to traditional TV stations. But it was great just to get back and get in touch with old friends from Alberta. I was so surprised by what I was seeing when I was there. I went to the mall and it was pretty much empty. I have video I'll have to share with you sometime of what it looks and feels like to be inside of an empty mall. Like me and my children were the only shoppers there. It was very weird to say the least. And it's just changed a lot. I was able to do a walkthrough of the hospital as well. And, my picture used to be on the elevator doors. I kid you not, it's not there anymore. So things change, people change, towns change, cities change, countries change, right? And it's just great to be home. I was able to just have a smooth transition back to the United States. It's always, you never know which way things are going to go. So I was glad to make it across, and so thankful for our border security. Those guys do not get enough credit. I always say thank you for your service because that's what they're doing. They really are on our first line of defense. And, it was just business as usual. And other than that, it feels good to be home back in the US. Like I woke up this morning and I just felt like so thankful to be here and so ready to get to work. So today's show is a big one for you. So a little bit more about what I'm transitioning into. I'm really making posters. I'm finding that just old school, simple, that's the way to do things. And that's kind of what it's a creative outlet. Some people make chocolate chip cookies, not me. I'm working on posters. And it's just a further extension to my radio show that I do. And I'm really quite enjoying it. It's just very matter of fact, to the point. You don't need a lot of details when it comes to posters. And now I'm just scoping out like great spots to get your word out of whatever that you're working on or sharing. So anyhow, that's me in a nutshell. Over to you, Greg. I could go on and talk about your time in the auto industry, your mentorship, your skating on ice, the Iceman with Wayne Gretzky. But I'm just going to hand the mic over to you and let you share a little bit. And let's just take a minute because just slow yourself down. And
Sure.
It's like a campfire, okay? I just want you to think of a campfire. So go ahead whenever you're ready.
Wow, close to my heart. You talked campfire. That's what life is all about. It's like life is all about. I kid you not. This is a small world, and I've got a lot to get to today. But campfire, do you realize I'm going to be re-releasing my campfire chat? You'll remember. Nobody knows about this. With Sheriff Mark Lamb. It was in June 2022. A campfire chat where we again chat about stuff that you do only around a campfire. It's stuff that's not social media stuff or internet stuff. It's really authentic conversation. I'm actually going to be re-releasing that kind of like a 2025 thing because everything good in the world is going to happen in 2025. Okay.
Right.
So thank you for touching on that because that campfire thing is really actually important to me. It goes way back to Plattsburgh, New York, Lake Champlain, when we were little kids with the campfire thing. So there's always secrets and memories and stuff behind it. I want to, before I get into it, I want to take a few things off my list, shout out wise, because we've got important dates coming up. We have the 4th of July coming up. Okay. And just one pure shout out for that day. It's coming up. It is going to be a big one this year in 2025. Just saying, 2026 will be big too, being the 250th anniversary of the Constitution. But we got the 4th of July, and I'll just say bless everybody out there. And boy, I love my own show because I can just say what I kind of want here. Shout out early because, again, we won't be broadcasting through the 4th. So shout out early to my nieces, my 2 nieces in Montreal. You might remember this, Val, from an old show. My nieces, Melissa and Cassidy in Montreal. My brother, who I lost a few years ago to pancreatic cancer, has 2 daughters, 9 years apart in age from 2 different marriages. And both those girls are 4th of July babies. So what are the odds, right? So there's something definitely mystical to that. But when they were little, you remember this, Val, I call Melissa when she maybe 4 or 5 years old, I'd call her and say, "Hey, Melissa, watch your TV tonight. We're going to give you a birthday party like you ain't never seen before, right?" And she totally bought into it. It's like Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Right? So shout out. I'll get this kind of off my list because I really want to talk about Michael Mccune and my field trip to Benson. I really do. It's very important, very special. This guy's a really cool guy. But total shout out to my son Tanner and his new bride, Angel. You can't make that up, Angel. They are getting married. Tanner, you know real well because you've interviewed him like 3 times, Val. TannerThorpe.com. Boom. But Tanner and Angel are getting married on the 7th, Monday the 7th in Port Orchard. This is worth like a whole broadcast because, dude, this is a Cinderella story. So July 7th, Monday, Tanner, and they're getting married at the courthouse, of course.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's 45. And he's starting his brand new life from scratch. He picked July 7th, so he's calling it his 777 event in life. July 7th. Anyhow, that's just awesome. And then sandwiched in between is July 6th, the most important day of the year to me. That is Miss Deb's birthday. Quiet
Happy birthday.
Once again, that's an episode unto itself. But July 6th, same birthday as George W. Bush. Go figure. Go figure. And so July 6th, and Deborah is, and she's turning 75. That beautiful age. 75, looks 48. I always joke she's almost 10 years older than me, looks 20 years younger. So happy birthday to Deb. Incredible shout outs to Tanner and Angel. Her name's Angel Baker. Angel Baker. That's like a F. Scott Fitzgerald name, you know?
Yeah. And she is a baker too, right? Isn't she just a superb baker?
She is an event planner. She puts on big old events.
Yeah.
Cater the entertainment, everything, the logistics. And she worked out of Tulsa and Dallas as a huge event planner. And so she's going to be a welcome addition to the family, eh? She's going to be a welcome addition, eh? So reaching out to everybody else, if you want to take a quick second, Val, again, we're putting off Alberta till a little bit later. I feel that a real kind of special need to catch up there. But anything else kind of bulletin points on your end before we get to Michael Mccune?
Oh yeah. Well, like I shared, I'm busy with posters because it's that season when there's always summer events. You know, that like towns will put out their events books of stuff that's going on. In fact, I have one I'm just going to grab because it's so well done. You know, you find these books and there's just like 100 pages, but I'm working really hard just on keeping it simple and focused on over the summer because it's really important. I think that we can, you know, get busy with holidays, etc., but it's all about the campfire, as you would say. It's all about the campfire, baby, right? And it is.
Right.
And anybody that overlooks the significance or importance of taking that time, like stepping away from the battle and just coming in, you know, rounding the troop and just kind of doing like a reset, I think it's so important. And I don't care, you know, you can be the low man on the totem pole, you can be the top brass, whatever. And if you have to say why, then maybe you're not on the guest list, right? So it's all about the campfire. And I'm kind of planning just a get together. You inspired me. As you mentioned, 3 years ago, you organized a campfire. Yeah. And you had people on your guest list that, you know, didn't show up, and not my problem, right? Not our problem, because not everybody that gets the invite gets it. And if you have to say why, it's kind of like, well, I guess maybe you're not on the second round of the guest list. You didn't make the cut because you either get it or you don't. Right. That's how I see it. And but if you don't take time away and you don't do a reset, you're not going to get stronger, right? You can't just keep going on nothing. You have to get re-inspired. You have to get re-entangled with old friends. Like, think back to some of your best friends, Greg. You talk all the time about, your friends back home and growing up, and you talk about hockey games like they were yesterday, literally, and many of them were in your backyard in Montreal, right? So, and people are like that. Like, you always come back to that time around the campfire. We do all the time, because that's a good place for discussions. It's a good place just to unwind. So maybe this is like inside information. Maybe if you hear the sound of a crackling fire, or if you hear the sound of squirrels, or the gentle breeze, or just the ambiance around that campfire, around the lake, maybe you are on the guest list. I'm just saying. So listen for those sounds and think about what I'm saying. It's not just about kumbaya. There's a lot more going on at campfires. Now, I don't have locations, but just something simple, like, I'm not talking Camp David, okay? Like, just anyways, that's all I have. Back to you.
I'll tell you what, you asked me a long time ago 2 questions. One, who do I hang with?
Yeah.
Remember that question? And you also asked me, who's not invited on our show? I'm going back. Remember, of course, 3 years of broadcasting together, hundreds of shows, blah, blah, blah. I don't know why I remember all the individual clips. The first one you asked me was, who do I hang with? Because everyone's trying to label everyone right now. Are you right? Are you left? Are you up? Are you down? And I said, I hang with the nice people. I hang with the nice people. I don't care who you are or where you're from. And I hang with the authentic people, because authenticity is what it's all about. Authenticity. The strongest human emotion of connection is not love. It's authenticity, to connect. So I hang with the nice people and the authentic people. And if you look around the people I hang with, you'll say, God, those are all nice, authentic people. And then who's not invited? Who's not invited to my shows? And it's the same every time. And it's actually a perfect timing, because we have a little politics talk with Mccune coming up. I'm going to review Michael Mccune. Here's who's not invited to my show. Eva? If you're an officer of the thought police, you're telling me or anyone else what to think, you're not invited. Okay, they wear little badges on their shoulders that they're part of the thought police.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one group. The other group is the language police. If you need us to talk a certain way, or say or not say certain words the way you want to, you're once again officer of the law. Let's do a meme on that. I love the badge. The badge. I'm the language police. I'm the language police. We're all going to get scared. We're all going to get scared of the language police and the thought police. If you're an active member of those crews, and you know who you are, we know who you are, you'd probably like to go to another show. You won't like this show. You want to go to Occupy Democrats or MoveOn.org or all those people. They'll make you feel better. I promise you, I can't believe the negativity on these. I can't watch the comments from the left right now, Val. It's too depressing. I just throw up. No, I can't believe the negativity. So if you're one of them, you'll like there's lots of radio shows, lots of podcasts, lots of streaming. You'll like them better. You won't be as scared. You won't be as nervous. You won't be as triggered. So that's who's not. Is that the
root of it? Is that the root of it, though? Like, if we're gonna just get all psychological, the root of it is that they are scared, but they also feel like they're entitled to hide behind the policing of other people versus getting to the root issues of whatever, because that kind of it prevents discussions, it prevents fixing things or advancing.
They have to hide. Again, it's funny. These sound like reviews. This sounds like homework review, because we've talked about this so many times. God, I'll just call them the left, okay? God love them. God love my. You know, I have more Democrat and Canadian liberal friends than Republicans. It's kind of weaning now a little bit, but sorry, guys. I love you guys, Dems and Canadian liberals. You got no game. You got no game. You got no policy. You hate one guy, hate one guy, hate one guy. It's an era of adjectives. He's stupid. He's a racist. He's a bigot. He's a buffoon, whatever. No, you got no game. I want to talk policy. Let's talk border. Let's talk Afghanistan. Let's talk the economy. Let's talk, goodness, the Middle East. The Middle East. 12 days you square away what no one could square away for 40 years. Okay. Another another episode. You get me riled up. Already, and you didn't even ask to get me riled up. But anyhow,
it's true though. It's true. I think that we have to, take a second and hang your hat there and just address it. Like get to the root of whatever the issue is, but at least admit you are scared to have a conversation at a deeper level. The politics behind the face or behind the tone. Once we get over that and we just lay out the cards, there's a lot more that we probably agree on than we realize, but just using a front man, which at the end of the day, it's all puppeteered. So get over that and let's just get together, get around the campfire and duke it out, right?
Absolutely. Duke it out. You've never said that. That's like a fighting term, Val. That's a hockey term, man. Put up your dukes, eh?
I know. Again. I'll sit that one out.
Anyway, let me do this.
Let's talk about the field trip. Over to the field trip.
Oh, I really wanted to chat about this because I always say authenticity is so cool. The truth is easy to sell, and I tripped over this gentleman named Michael Mccune, and I'm going to tell you how. He asked me yesterday. I did my field trip to Benson, beautiful downtown Benson, Arizona. But I wanted to talk about him because of not only how we met, but again, I did a field trip. I don't often do field trips these days. Do you remember field trips in especially grade school and stuff? How fun they were.
Yes, I love field trips. Why did they end? Like, who decided no more field trips once you reach a certain age or stage or title in life?
That sounds like a good plan for 2025. Field trip 2025. We'll have that all the way to the campfire. So here's how I met him. And again, he asked me, and I always wonder how I connected with people. And always ask yourself that. How did I first meet someone and what was the real connection? And it was this. And bottom line, Michael Mccune, spelled Mccune, is one of the best kept secrets right now. It's not going to be a secret long. He's one of the best writers I've run into a long time, political writers. He's a martial arts guy, a karate guy, and writes about politics. I explained to him the concept of dueling citizens yesterday, and he loved it. Anyhow, here's how I met him. He asked, and the most important thing about life is how did you meet? Because that's the connection thing. And I met Michael Mccune. Really, it sounds funny. It was over the course of probably about a 2 or 3 week span where Deborah and I, my wonderful wife, all we do is drive. I drive 30,000 miles a year. And I always have, whether I'm a commuter or not, because we want to see every nook and cranny, in this case, of the state of Arizona. So we took a field trip, Val, a day trip, and we planned on seeing Tombstone, Arizona. I've been there before. We've talked about it on air with Heather Prosack, my best buddy up there. She's awesome. And Bisbee, Arizona, Bisbee. So we went and did a field trip and spent half a day and seeing those towns and stuff. We were driving back, and as we're driving back, towards Tucson, there's this town, Benson, Arizona, and it was one of these kind of by the highway, kind of railway going through kind of Mayberry. It looks like Mayberry. And I was saying, oh, that's kind of a cool town as we were driving by. So Benson was in my mind because Deborah and I are always looking for kind of an empty nest. We're very flexible now that we're retired and stuff. So if we found a kind of a cool place to live or even another state, that's a new adventure. We'd be open to that. So I kept saying, Benson. So anyway, I get back home, and as usual, I do my news feed, and I love to follow writers, and I've got an amazing news feed. And there's this writer. It's the first time I've seen a post of his, second time. His name's Mccune, and fabulous writer. Gen X, by the way. Fabulous writer. And I noticed, I just read his stuff, and I said, God, this is good stuff. This is kind of like Greg Meakin, but only younger. I said, but really clear, but really edgy, but also a very clinical view of things, like a good referee in Dueling Citizens. So I'm saying, boom. And then I just looked at his profile. He says he's from Benson, Arizona. Of course. So here we go. And I just had connected with him, and I said, I just got to go down and visit you, because I've never run into a writer, awesome writer, but that also runs a martial arts dojo studio. He's a mentor. He's a trainer. He's a teacher. There you go. Look at you, Miss Val. That's his store down in Benson, Arizona. His store. That's an old car guy right there. His studio, his dojo, Bushido of Benson. So I ended up yesterday. I took a trip down there, and you'll see some photos. And we had just one of those. We had a 3-hour visit. I said, this is just a really, really good guy, and he's someone that maybe I even want to promote a little bit, or get the word out there and stuff. And he, the same with us. You're in my work. Because, by the way, I'm his kind of guy, too. Kind of funny how that works. But I was just really impressed with him. As a side note, on 4th of July, he's producing the 4th of July fireworks show for Benson, which he's done for like 23 years. And, fireworks display, how it starts with the kind of sometimes some voiceovers and some music, and then crescendoing up to the fireworks grand finale quote. And he produces whole fireworks show, but in audio. And it started where it's going to all be dark. Of course, everyone's waiting for the show, and it's Ronald Reagan. The accumulation of all of the best clips of Ronald Reagan. I promise you, Val, I promise you. I was losing it listening to it, because I've listened to kind of all the tapes in the past, but I've never heard it pulled together, where Ronald Reagan basically says the United States of America's last bastion of freedom on earth. And then all these veterans died for us. And so that's the beginning of the fireworks show. I'm sitting there, I'm saying, God, I'm in the studio. I'm starting to blubber a little bit. And then here come the fireworks, but it's all in audio, in soundtracks. So I watched the fireworks show on audio. And I was saying, dude, no matter what, I just really like his writing, really like what he does. And most importantly, his mission is right. As a matter of fact, here we go. God, I'm digressing, but next Wednesday, write this down. Do you have your notepad there, Val? Next Wednesday, it's going to be the 9th. By the way, Secrets from the Inside, episode 0036. Next Wednesday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, Michael Mccune. Long form. Great long form. And
can I show a picture of him, or are we saving?
Oh, that's great. As a matter of fact, yeah. You know what? Go through. You pulled up some photos as usual, right? Of your research, Val. This is just hot off the press from yesterday. As a matter of fact, why don't you go through just a clip by clip of whatever you pulled up, and I'll just talk about it. Okay, just kind of ad lib. This is profile picture. Okay, this is called Generation X on steroids. Okay.
The real deal.
That is the real deal. And that's this guy's genius with graphics. Okay. Because I'm saying, go back to the previous one, Val. That's really cool. Because I'm saying, I'm like getting a man crush on this guy without even having met him. And you know what's funny? That profile picture, that's what he is. That's what he is. Next one. Next one, photo. Awesome. This is great, Val. There are the two of us right there. That's in his studio. That's the old guy with the young guy. And I was just thrilled. He gave me a full tour of his studio, because he's all about basically fatherhood, mentorship. There is in his studio, he was showing, displaying. I mean, this is like NASA inside his studio, this huge screen. This is where he was displaying some of his work. That's the same screen that he had showed me the fireworks he has produced. he's just amazing. He sits here and he just produces stuff right on that big screen. I was just amazed. You have another one, or cool? Look at that. There's Mike. There's Michael Mccune, loving on. Get this. Greg Meakin's 2 books: Why I Came to America and What I Think Now, and Secrets from the Inside. He promised that's on his top reading list, and I was actually giving him one of them. He said, "Well, where's the signature?" He wanted an autographed copy. He'll fact check that next week. It's a blast. That is great, Val. I really, really enjoyed visiting with him, and mainly his just mission and stuff. So you're going to be hearing a lot about him. And full disclosure, this show and this network and this program, you and I, Val, we're totally independent. We don't have advertisers, sponsors, donors. You know, George Soros doesn't give me money in order to say things on the air. You know?
Yeah,
Oh, but go ahead, back to you. I've been blabbing.
yeah, no, you have a point there.
Ugh.
There is, when I look at the difference between Canada and the USA, and people can laugh about, oh, the thought police, oh, the language police, but you don't realize how they can come in under, the guise of, oh, it's, we're monitoring hate speech. Well, that comes down to you taking ABCs, mixing them together and creating things and then enforcing things. And then before you know it, top to bottom, bottom to top, we have a mess on our hands that really is a hijacking of communication. So that's why I think it's really important to say, keep your grubby paws off of our ABCs, all of them, all 26. Like, I carry and use 26, and you'll have to pry them out of my cold, dead hands, right? Like, that's what it's all about. And if we can't say that at the water cooler or around the desk, around the table or around the campfire, then we have a problem. So it's all about the ABCs, wieners, and roasting on an open fire and talking. And that's kind of what you get with our broadcast. And we're thrilled to be here already at episode 0035. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that we would end up here around this table? It's just like a match, isn't it? It's like a match made in heaven almost.
Ditto. Ditto. Tell you what, the 2022 campfire with Sheriff Mark Lamb, I had a number of kind of private chats with him, and there's also some very cool clips on my YouTube channel. I teased a number of those clips, including a hockey fight. But I took him aside. We chatted a couple of times, and he was saying just that. He was talking about the authenticity, and he was talking about we talk circle of trust, or what I call SRF, stark raving fans. This is a circle of people that you really, really love and trust. And the older you get, generally the circle gets smaller. And I was remarking to him that my circle is so small that it's enormous. It's so small that it's great. But there's people who have truly connected. And that's you. That's me. Oh my goodness, Val, look at you. Sheriff Mark Lamb, June 2022, campfire chat. There's stuff in that on that live feed, that beautiful production that Sheriff Lamb's never said publicly. But I'm almost thinking, because I'm thinking 2025, maybe I can convince him, let's do Campfire 2025, maybe kind of like that kind of thing, like we did 3 years ago. Either way, the two things is he remarked how tight his circle is of people you love and trust and whatever. And that gets back to, remember I said, the nice people, the authentic people. And so once connections are made, it's just, again, the you, the me, the Sheriff Mark Lamb, the Captain James McCormick, incredible stories about him. Some of the radio peeps we know, some of the pastors we know, the pastor Nathaniel Rios and stuff. These are connectors. These are people. I'm not even talking about the Tanners of the world and the other folks. These are the connectors. These are authentic people. And again, I love to say, stay small. Stay small. The bigger I get, the smaller I stay. And also, my favorite is, it's not the big that eat the small. It's the fast that eat the slow. And what I love is I had a really fast team. Really, really fast, small team. So don't know where that came from, but kind of back to you on that one, Val.
Well, I want to add, this is queued up. If you want to take a minute, we can watch it, but authenticity is the currency. So, and I've been saying this for a few years now, that if you aren't authentic, you don't have it. Like you don't have the aftermath, because everyone gets living in the moment and caught up in a system. But trust me, systems break, machines fall apart. Technology is only as good as the hands controlling it or the minds controlling it. But if you're running on a time zone or behind, ahead, time travel, whatever, authenticity remains the consistent currency. Because you can print money now, right? There's monopoly money, there's crypto, there's anything you say it is. So if you aren't authentic, you really don't have game in the next wave of what's going to happen.
It's so cool to see that you actually have that video from the old campfire chat. I want to make a mention of this because, yes, I'm gonna have you play it. This is the long version. I think it's a minute and 23, because this blew away Sheriff Lamb. It blew him away, because my concept is, I come from Montreal. I was raised with hockey. I started skating at 3 years old. And so I was just raised with hockey and the Montreal Canadiens. So when I came to the United States in 1983, I was 24 years old. And my mantra was, with all these American guys, big American guys, Second Amendment gun guys, all these guys, kind of the Mark Lambs, was, hey, you guys are big and tough and stuff, but I'm not afraid of you. If let's put on a pair of ice skates. Let's put a pair of hockey skates and see how you do. Right. So that's my little, that I actually took it to the next stage, to the next level here. He loved this. It's a minute 29. It's so funny. It's important because the hockey fight thing, to me, the concept is, I believe that folks agree on 80% of stuff in life. And it's just the 20% they disagree with. So let's get on the ice like we did in Montreal, and let's duke it out. And let's go back after the game and have a beer. So in other words, come together on ideas we agree with: family, health, security, safety, national security and stuff. And let's get together, hash things out, and then come together with things we agree with on a common mission moving forward. So this is literally a minute 29. And this ended up, I think part of it went viral. Val, so I'll just tee that up. That's the greatest thing in the world. He was like a 10-year-old in this clip. Go ahead. This is in Alberta.
Oh, that's awesome. I've never had a hockey jersey before.
Right, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. First, man. This was literally shipped into me yesterday. Look at this. Yes. And when you see your name on a hockey jersey, there's something about it. And what's interesting, there's no crest on
Look
the
at that. Check that out.
But we're going to do a photo op, man.
You got that?
Yeah. Oh, look at this. Now we're going to go. Watch his gun.
By the way,
Oh, I like it.
That's why you got to grab the jersey, right? No, is it back here?
That's right. The old they actually have fight strap. You pull the jersey up over the guy's head, and then you just do this.
Yeah.
Like this. But in front, there's no crest, because I'm going to do a contest for the best Alberta 51 crest. Okay, but you turn around this way, and this is where the photo op action is, right there.
Can you pull yours down, Sheriff?
Yeah.
He's got his guns in the way there. But we're good.
You good? Oh, right there?
Yeah, there you go.
Right there we go.
Great. Oh, that was great, Val. The Alberta group, the leader of the Alberta group saw that, and the key at the end was where he said, "His gun's in the way." You were right there. Val. His gun's in the way.
I know. I was like, how do I go about this one?
I told him, I said, I'm Canadian. I've never owned a gun. Like East Coast Canadian. I told him, but I've never owned a gun, but I felt like I had the safest campfire. I think I
Yeah.
had the safest campfire in the world. So you were there, and that was just a great experience. The funny thing about it, that's one of those clips. The actual just kind of fight thing was about a 50-second clip, and that tens of thousands of views because people just loved it. So anyhow, thank you for that. That'll intro here us to. I really want to talk about Alberta a little bit. I'm jumping a little bit. Can you take a quick second though? Can you do you have Michael McCune's Facebook page by any chance? I want to make sure. And I think there's this easy. I just want to let people know I've got this memorized here where they can find him. Facebook, Michael McCune's really active on Facebook. And it's again, Michael McCune, MCCUNE. And he's on Facebook. Follow him and read his stuff, and he's got the most amazing thumbnails you've ever seen. You'll know why Donald Trump actually retweeted his work once to 9 million people. So you'll understand. And Michael McCune, he's also got a YouTube channel. It's also Michael McCune. So that's kind of a wrap up on that, which is cool. There he is right there. Very, very cool. But that's how to find him. Again, we'll see you next week. Tentatively next week, next Wednesday, July 9th, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. The one, the only. Maybe I'll see if he can dress up in that outfit right there, Val. That's a pretty cool outfit, eh?
That's awesome. I love it. I love it.
Let's do this.
Okay.
Let's talk Alberta. Okay, a little bit, and/or where you want to go there.
So I have a couple of things. It's really interesting because at the campfire, I did feel very safe. It was in a, secure location. The fire was under control and we had guns. So, I mean, you have a fighting chance. That's what it means. It means that you do have a fighting chance. And I found in Alberta, realistically, you do not have a fighting chance. So while I was there, the Calgary City Police were putting an end. Okay, they were axing, and I use that term, that weapon, loosely because they don't want Nerf guns. Okay, they don't want you to have some kind of like air compressor type gun. They do not want you to have Nerf guns. They don't want you to have anything that resembles your ability to have a fighting chance. I mean, that's just how I'm interpreting it, because at the end of the day, that's what this really is all about. Do you have a chance at a fair fight? And if one of you is completely dependent on some kind of regulatory body, like in Alberta, you can't even have what resembles freedom or safety. And you have to call in the whoever is allowed to wear the badge or have the badge to get any kind of help. It's very dangerous. They don't want you to have bear spray. They do not want you to have any kind of self-defense. And I'm just saying, guys, like, back to the drawing board here. There is a problem. And, I've spoke to many law enforcement years ago that were telling me that when you actually are calling thinking that, an officer is blank far away, that's not the case. These calls get dispatched, and people need to really look at where these calls are being dispatched, and also the routes that these care providers, because that's what they are a personal care provider for your safety in the neighborhood, the route that it has to go through and get mapped to before they can respond. You realize really fast, wow, I don't really have a fighting chance. I don't have a fair chance. And this has happened. I was following news stories where in rural Alberta, where, vandalism and break and enters and theft and all that kind of stuff was happening. There were instances where a husband had to protect his wife or protect his family. And because he responded using a weapon that the law deemed, well, you can't do that, it was misused. And he's like, no, I'm just trying to protect my wife from being raped. It didn't hold up. And in some cases, it can cost you everything. It can cost you, your farm, which if you look at it from another angle, that could also be, well, that's a land grab. right? That's, you know, his land was grabbed. It was taken away, and all because he was trying to protect himself or protect his family. So I'm a really big proponent for safety, personal safety, individual rights and freedoms. And whatever you do, do not give up your guns. Personally and culturally, it's so important. Do not give up your words. Do not give up your thoughts. Do not give up your anything. You got to stand ground. You've got to hold the line. And if that sounds like crazy talk, it's really not. We're just having a discussion around a kitchen table, and we're just using words. So, you know, sometimes we have to take it back a notch and just get real about stuff, get honest about stuff. And like Greg said, you know, we end up agreeing on 80% of stuff. It's just that 20% that can get in the way. So let this be summer 2025. We're almost at July the 4th. Let's really celebrate freedom. Let's understand the cost. Let's understand and reconnect and think about, you know, the spirit of those individuals that went ahead, that fought the good fight and what they were fighting for. And that is today. That is exactly where we are. So I know I'm a little repetitive today, and I'm really just bringing it back home and trying to keep it really localized around a fire, and the urgency of hitting the reset button and the coming together and, you know, just take the time and talk and have these discussions. And that was the first time I met Sheriff Lamb actually was around the campfire. And I think that's really important. Like you said, Greg, some of the most important meetings happen around campfires. So I'm all about field trips and campfires. 2025, 2026, and over the next 10 years, they're going to be crucial. So watch for those sign-up sheets. Watch for the sign-up sheets. Back to you.
Yeah, where do we I was going to say that. Where do we sign up? That's like, remember the little Boy Scout and Girl Scout drives where my son Colton, I'll tell you what, my quiet son Colton, the twin, I love this, the sign up sheet. When he learned about Boy Scout cookies, and I think it was school related to Boy Scout, that he could make money off of it. This guy would, this is the quiet twin, right? He wouldn't say boo at the time. And we came home and he did the entire round of our neighborhood, door to door, cold calling and closing. He came back with a whole filled sign up sheet. And it turns out, again, he was the highest, the quiet twin, the quote C student. And he turned out to be just amazing. He's a funniest guy in the RV industry down in Florida now. So he started that at selling Boy Scouts, again, sign up sheet. And now he's moved it to a different level down in Florida. Very, very cool. That is great stuff. That's great stuff. If you mind, I don't mind. I'm going to kind of cut it short a little bit. We've teased on a bunch of stuff. There's lots of dates coming up. You know, by the way, here the 4th of July is coming up, and more importantly, the 6th. And then more importantly than that, the 7th. And then our show is the 9th. And that's going to be with Mike. That's going to be with Mike. Again, I don't mean to coo. You've heard me do this a lot, Val. I apologize for cooing over people or getting gushy. It's only when I find people that are special talents. Russell and Hunter up in Phoenix, Mike Russell, and those guys, and goodness gracious, Sheriff Lamb, but other folks too. So I'm what used to be known in the 40s and 50s as a talent scout.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I just determined, it took me 66.5 years to find this out. But I said, I'm only two things in life, really only two things. Look at it, two. And then one is a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is a storyteller. And that's it.
Well, a talent scout today would kind of be like an ambassador, right? Because I mean, sure, you can go and say, oh, you would be talented, but really you are representing, right? You're representing the life force, or you're kind of being like the ember in a campfire where it, like you're warm, you're keeping everybody. And then just like that, you know how to start a fire.
Exactly. You got a great product. You just need it to be launched, sparked. Johnny Carson. You know, I branded Secrets from the Inside moving forward, Secrets from the Inside Radio, which we're going to start next Wednesday with Michael Mccune, as the Johnny Carson Show. I consider, seriously, I consider myself a Johnny Carson. I'm not the lead act. I'm not the frontman. I'm just the guy that arranges it, that sets the table. And side note, fact check this. See how many careers Johnny Carson launched. Yet he wasn't the main event, which is cool. So it's kind of nice. I would hope, I really mean this. I don't want to sound odd about this, but I would really hope and pray that younger people, Generation X, the youngers, millennials, Zs, Gen Zs, then the younger than that, the alphas, and then the younger than that, the Bravos, the Bravo generation, who are going to be born in 2025. If there's a woman pregnant out there right now, she's going to be giving birth to a new generation, Generation B or Beta, or as we call it, the Bravo generation. Okay, so I want to, if okay, I kind of want to wrap it up and use this even if anything as a teaser for next week. For next Wednesday, it's going to be good stuff. Do on my end, just do check out Michael McCune's work and also Val's work. Make sure you check and follow her. Make sure you check and follow me, Val, because Val, I'll let you do kind of a little wrap and sign up and perfect summary there, as you always do. But I always finish up with, God, there's so much to talk about. So much we didn't touch on today, Val. So much. We haven't even talked about the car business. Everybody just wants to talk to me about cars, Val.
Yes.
So, but we'll catch up more. We have an absolutely stacked lineup down the road. We've got so many future guests and people that are going to be able to come on they're going to be shows unto themselves and stuff. So I'll kind of let you wrap on that, just summarize the show. As I always close out, and seriously, I did this morning. Always remember, wake up in kindergarten every day. There's so much to learn and so little time. Because before you know it, you're in first grade. Have a great week, everybody.
That's right. Here's little Greg before grade 1.
3 years.
Yeah.
Well, Lake Pose, Quebec. Now, I kid you not, I can't believe you posted that photo. I can't believe, because including my cousin Sally was there and stuff. All everyone said is, I just wanted to have a good time, have a blast, have an adventure, be on a mission, have an adventure. I guess, look at that, 3 years old. I couldn't have a bad attitude if I tried. So thank you for posting that one, Val. I can't believe that. That's cool.
So I'm just going to do a quick summary. So Greg was at the beach there today. We talked all about the importance of field trips. We talked about campfires. And we also want to say congratulations going out to Tanner and Angel. Of course, their big day is coming up. We are almost at my favorite day, July the 4th. So happy USA Day, happy Freedom Day. And what else do we have? We also want to mention, let's see, bulletin boards. Don't forget about that. Keep your eyes on those bulletin boards. You never know what kind of national treasure you are going to find unless you unpack it on the bulletin board. And last but not least, next week on the show, 0036, we're going to have Michael Mccune. I cannot wait to meet him after Greg's field trip that he shared to Benson, Arizona. And we're hoping that Michael is going to be dressed like the hero he is, and we'll be able to unpack exactly what he's doing, where he's going, and just who he is. I have about 10,000 questions. So it's not going to be a short show. It's going to be a long one. And on that note, don't forget to check out Greg's work. You can do that on YouTube, Greg Meakin. Also gregmeakin.com. I am on X. That is where I conduct business at home, Media Mom. And that is episode 0035, Secrets from the Inside.